Every state has its own laws, and you have to obey the laws of your state. But what if you travel in America? Do you know what the law is in my town? In every state in America, well, not in Illinois, most every state, every other state, it's now legal to carry a handgun if you have a permit for it, to carry it with you. And millions of Americans do in 49 states. But there are so many different rules about exactly where it's legal to carry that hundreds of well-meaning people that try to do the right thing, go to jail because they didn't know the gun law here or there. And one of those people is Mark Meckler. Mark, what happened to you?
Well, on December 15th of last year, I was traveling. I come to New York regularly, and I was actually traveling.
You're a Tea Party activist.
I'm a Tea Party activist. I've been involved in the movement for 3 years. Thanks.
In fact, you got the gun and the carry permit because some people didn't like Tea Party activists and you wanted to defend yourself.
My family was receiving threats, and so we decided it would be a good idea to protect ourselves.
All right, so you live in California and you're going to Virginia.
I was on my way to Virginia, actually for a shooting Christmas party in Virginia, and I had stopped off in New York, and I was transiting through New York, and I was checking in at LaGuardia at about 5 in the morning on December 15th.
So you took a flight to New York, got off, stayed in a hotel, went back to fly to Virginia.
Exactly. Went to the airport, like I've done so many times all across the country, and went through the process of checking in with an unloaded handgun in a locked case.
And that you have to have the special TSA-approved locked case? That's something like this?
That's it. The TSA requires a hard-sided case with locks on it.
Okay. You had that?
I had that. I walked up to the counter and I asked for a handgun declaration form, which I'd done all over the country, and filled it out and gave it to the ticket agent. She said she was going to call the Port Authority police over, which is common to have it inspected. It's different in every airport. Then the police came over and they asked me if that was my firearm. I said yes. They asked me if I had a permit for it in New York City. I said no, and they said they were placing me under arrest.
And you went to jail?
I not only went to jail, but right there at LaGuardia in front of everybody, they put my hands behind my back, handcuffed me, did the perp walk out to the squad car and stuffed me in the back of a squad car and took me to jail.
Charged you with a felony, carrying a concealed weapon with intent to do harm.
Yes.
Did you intend to do harm?
Absolutely not. And they presented no evidence that I intended to do harm. It's also interesting, John, because in New York, apparently, carrying means in a locked case in your luggage, and loaded means that you have a handgun and you have ammunition somewhere. But I was never actually carrying it. It was never actually loaded. It was an unloaded weapon locked in a TSA-approved case.
And as you went to court, you say the law enforcement officials were laughing about how stupid this was?
They were actually more frustrated that this was going on. And when I got booked in Queens Central, and the booking officer was furious because he said they have real criminals to deal with. They have real problems, and having to process a guy like me through the system doesn't make any sense.
And as far as the disruption to your life, the prosecutors told your lawyer it's no big deal.
No big deal. And my lawyer responded, you know, you didn't get to talk to his wife at 6 in the morning, who'd gotten the call at 3 in the morning California time that her husband was in jail in New York City.
Let's go to a similar case. A med student from Tennessee went to the 9/11 memorial here in New York and saw a no-gun sign. So she asked the police where she could check her gun, her licensed gun. The police, instead of taking her gun and checking it or explaining to her that even licensed guns are illegal in this city, charged her with a felony that comes with a minimum 3.5-year jail term. My beloved mayor, Michael Bloomberg, who's become something of an anti-gun zealot, was asked whether the med student should get a break. He responded with a good example of political arrogance.
Well, number one, I don't know why anybody doesn't know what New York State gun laws are. We've been talking about it. We've been testifying in Washington. But, you know, let's assume she didn't get arrested for carrying a gun. She probably would have gotten arrested for the cocaine that was in her pocket. We have any other questions? Yes, miss.
Let's do the last one.
Ha, ha, ha. Everybody there was laughing. But what's funny? The police reported there was white stuff in her pocket. The mayor assumed it was cocaine. It turned out to be aspirin. 3 months later, after lots of media criticism, the prosecutor dropped the felony charge. She paid a fine of $200. But the prosecutor could have wrecked her life. And this happens often?
It happens, according to my attorney, over 300 times a year here in New York, and all of those people are people who are trying to abide by the laws, who are carrying guns according to legal permits, and people like me who declare them at the airports. And you know, Bloomberg laughs about it. The prosecutor said it's no big deal. John, I can tell you, when you feel those handcuffs close on your wrists, you understand the thin line between liberty and tyranny. It's a serious situation.
And in addition to arrogance, I would add the narcissism of the politicians. Oh, everyone must know what our very different laws are. Well, people have lives. They don't read the laws at every new place.
I'm a lawyer, and I actually research the laws when I travel with my handgun, and I research state laws. I had no idea that cities had individual laws. And the reality is, if cities across the country can do this, then there really is no Second Amendment, because it's impossible for any individual to know the laws in every city, and those laws are constantly changing. So not only cannot know them, but they change every day.
Mayor Bloomberg said these laws are important. There are just too many guns on the streets. We have to do something about it. Keep guns out of the hands of criminals.
So I'd like to ask the mayor, what purpose was served? How did we make New York City safer by arresting and charging somebody like me or somebody like Meredith Graves? The reality is it's an illegal, unconstitutional gun confiscation scheme.
Well, Mayor Bloomberg, we invite you on the show to answer his question. I hope you will come. Thank you, Mark Meckler.